Our theme today is calming the winds of Vata. So we're maybe challenged by quite a bit of change. Things are a little unsettled. and yes, this is a fact of the matter at all times, but especially in times like we're living in right now. There is a definite feeling of being unsettled. Now, also whenever we're changing seasons, like when we're going, especially from summer to fall or from winter to spring, there tends to also be a lot of winds, a lot of change in the weather patterns. So we'll go from like having a really warm day to having a colder day, or just like all these crazy winds blowing, really, really hot, or you can feel that little nip in the air starting and you're like, okay, we're no longer in summer anymore. You know, the fall really has that kind of feel to it. So Vata itself in Ayurveda is governed by winds. Vata is the energy of movement, the energy of kinetics. And so typically when we're feeling scattered, or when life is feeling scattered and less scheduled, that Vata can get really high and we can feel a little deranged. We can feel a little uneasy, anxious, out of balance. And typically of all the Ayurvedic doshas, so we have Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, which represent all the elements that are, living within us. Vata is the most easily to go out of balance. So if you're experiencing like that sense of like you can't remember things, or you walk into a room and you're like, I knew I was coming in here for something, but it escaped me. And you have to kind of retrace your steps. That's Vata energy. And I know I speak for all of us in saying, we've been there. So, the idea of today is to get back in balance and harmony, to correct any imbalances in Vata. We all have Vata in us. Some of us more than others, like we're naturally a little bit more airy, and I'm one of them. And also we have the other doshas in us, the other elements in us. So Pitta is made up of fire and water. This is like a little more intensity, but also you have the dampness to it. And then you have Kapha. The Kapha energy is more earth and water. So more density, right? More already naturally grounded. So we have all these in different percentages within us. So the idea today is to sort of get out of any irritable patterns, to get out of any anxious patterns, to get ourselves grounded and feeling calm, feeling nourished, and just slowing down our pace so that we can really take everything in. I'm going to have you start in reclining all the way down on the floor like you would for Shavasana. If you'd like to, we'll be in a little meditation here. So if you'd like to place something underneath your knees for support, or place a pillow back behind your head if you need it, roll up a blanket under your knees, anything that helps you feel relaxed and at ease. So get comfortable. Let yourself relax. Let yourself soften into the earth. If you find that your body is needing any movement as you lay down, you're welcome to just let your instincts take over. We'll begin with a ring finger meditation. So your ring finger is often used as a heart balancer. And it's also known as a grounder or an earth element. So typically when we do a mudra, a hand gesture with the thumb and the ring fingertips touching, we call it Prithvi mudra. So you'll take Prithvi mudra as you lay today, lay down. And of course, the roosters are going to have a little time talking to you while we're getting settled. So you might also have heard about Mercury retrograde, that is coming up here pretty soon. And so sometimes that could also make us feel a little uneasy. So our breathing in today is inviting this sense of ease, inviting the sense of peace. The ring finger is associated with Apollo, the sun god, and the root chakra. And it rules the pelvic floor. It gives us some stamina and some staying power. And it helps us be assertive. So as we press the thumb tip and the ring fingertip together as we rest here, encircling your left finger. Yep, there we go. And then taking a few moments just to breathe in and breathe out. This is the liver meridian. It begins here on the left pinky. It's a deeper meridian, real deep into the core of the body. So you can imagine that you're connecting to your liver, which gives us patience and serenity and hope and a bigger vision for the future. And then this also governs all the protective mechanisms within the body, including your body temperature regulation and your cell function. So you can imagine as we're pressing, we really feel this ability that we have within our own system to equalize, to have a well-functioning immunity, and to become stable. And so now you're going to take your left hand and wrap your whole entire left hand around your right ring finger. So you're going to hold the two together. You can hold them right kind of cross over your belly, like resting your hands on your abdomen. And just let your arms and shoulders relax as you hold with your left hand your right ring finger. Imagine bare earth. Imagine rock. Feel the stone of the deserts, the stone that makes up mountains, the stone that makes up an island. And then just consider what happens when the earth begins to move or dry out, or when it's always exposed to the sun. And then imagine a fertile earth. All the vegetation being created. Little plants, big plants, just verdant green everywhere. And as you tune into this vibration of the earth, begin to imagine just one single seed resting deep in the earth. And with every breath you take, see something moving inside that seed. And as the seed moves, suddenly it's going to begin to burst forth life. A little shoot stretches into the direction of light. As that seed sprouts, its roots go down into the earth. That seed is a tree. And imagine how slowly over time it grows, takes root, and builds and grows slowly day by day. As you breathe, imagine yourself kind of fast forward that slow, year by year, season by season growth of that tree over time. And then how it develops into a full size. Imagine time has no significance, only that there is constant growth. And of course, the tree blooms. It starts to bloom anew each year and bearing fruit. And like the tree, we want to give ourselves completely to life. There's an innate purpose. And even though we can never quite imagine this great mystery, we know within ourselves that as we change and develop, that life just continues. And now we get to decide. Joyful. We get to decide how it feels to move through the changes, to move through the growth, to move through the seasons. Patient and grounded, and choosing joy. Feel the warmth of your hand flowing into your finger. And then switch your hands. So now you're grabbing with your right hand around your left ring finger. So you're just encircling your whole entire hand, right hand around your left ring finger. With your next breath in, allow yourself to plant your feet firmly to the ground. So bending your knees, continuing to hold your ring finger, strengthening this energy of calm, of groundedness, and releasing irritability as we choose joy. Feeling your breath now, your focus on your breath as it rises and falls. If you would like to move your hand from your belly to above your head on the floor behind you, that's another option to get a little shoulder stretch here. Finishing up our meditation. Watch how the breath rises and falls in your belly. With your inhale, the belly expands. You feel a little lift through the breastbone. Become buoyant away from the floor. And as you exhale, feel your body drop a little closer into the floor, releasing out all your air, emptying your lungs, feeling the belly draw in towards the spine. And now just let yourself remain movable. And as your body is being breathed, watch how that breath initiates a pulse, an oscillation of movement. As your body oscillates with your breath, each exhale helps you remove tension, and each inhale replaces with joy. Inhaling joy, exhaling tension. Riding those waves of breath through the body, remaining movable. So you have a few options for your opening twist today. Crossing your left leg over your right completely. And as you cross your legs over each other, left over right, let the knees fall all the way over to the right side. So left is over, and you can cross them so you're interlocking, so you have your inner thighs kind of connecting to each other, or you can keep them wide. It just depends on what feels good to you. So ask your body what it needs, what variation would feel right. You're still holding your mudra if it feels good, but letting your shoulders drop back into the earth. So whether you have your arms above your head or still at your belly, you're letting your shoulder blades connect into the floor. So you feel the back door of your heart, the back of your body pressing as you twist. So the tendency is sometimes for us to roll over to one side. So just let the legs do their part and let the upper body remain kind of flattening towards the ground. Sometimes when we roll to the right, you might feel the left shoulder kind of lift up. So even if it doesn't push down all the way, just imagine it relaxing back as much as possible. And then turn your head to look down at your opposite arm. So your left arm, or left shoulder, I should say. And take some big breaths. As you breathe, again, imagine that expansion on inhalation. Let the breath roll up the entire length of your spine to the back of your skull. And as you exhale, imagine yourself getting heavier towards the earth and just letting go more. So surrender any tensions, any tightness, any effort as you exhale. And keep riding that wave, dancing that dance. Inhale, filling, expanding. Exhale, flattening, dropping, and releasing. And just 2 more rounds like that. And then on your inhale, bring everything back up to center. Uncross your legs, feet plant again, knees bent on the ground. Crossing, let's actually change our mudra. Okay, so I think we've had an equal time on each side. We're going to come into what's called Ushas Mudra. So Ushas Mudra is the mudra for all good things. It's really about the sunrise. It's a good one to do in the morning. But what you do is you take all your fingers and you interlock and clasp your fingers so your right thumb lies above the left. Right thumb above the left. So you're kind of interlocking each finger and letting them be held. Now I'm also keeping a hollow space in my hands. Okay, so you want to kind of hollow things out. You're making it almost like a little dome. Fingers all interlocked. So you're going to press the right thumb slightly on top of the left. And then see if you can kind of get the right thumb, especially for the women, right thumb between the left thumb and index finger. So you kind of press that little point in between your left thumb and index finger. So you can push into that little place, okay? So from here, you can again let your hands rest on your belly or on your lap, or let your arms rest overhead. And now let's change our legs so we do the twist on the other side. So cross the left leg over the right. Cross it all as much and as deeply as you'd like. Let the knees fall to the left. left side of your mat. Let it surrender all the way over. Exhale completely. And as you breathe in and out, let your shoulders drop back into the earth. So get as deep of a twist as you'd like. You can actually invite the knees up along the side of you, along the floor, even deeper if you want to get a deeper twist. And if it's too deep, you can push your knees a little further away from you or away from the edge of your mat. And once again, close your eyes. If you'd like, you can turn your head to look down your right shoulder. And continue to get into that sense of the breath moving you. As you breathe and expand your breath, your inhales can help you feel like you're radiating energy, like you're a sun shining from your belly, and the beams are radiating out beyond your skin into the space around you. And as you exhale, yield into the earth. Let yourself soften and let go. So you, as an active participant in your breathing, you can feel from the inside out how the breath is pulsing and oscillating. The bigger you breathe, the more you'll feel that sense of expansion on inhalation and releasing on exhalation. And you can imagine you're cleansing out any tensions. Any old stale air can be released. And when you breathe in, choosing joy, or just choosing peace to enter in every cell. And each time you exhale, let the breath go and empty completely. No matter how old we are, there are times of change. New beginnings come repeatedly in life. Now we're working on our second chakra, and we're feeling the center of our creativity, always creating something new within us. This mudra helps us get some mental alertness, some new impulses, and it harmonizes our hormones. If you have a hard time waking up in the morning, this mudra helps you wake up. And then with the next breath, I'm going to have you take your inhale, bringing the knees back up to center, uncross your legs, and still holding this mudra, extend your arms straight now above your head, extend your legs straight out along the floor, and just reach through both spaces. Rub your ankle bones together, like you're going to ignite a flintstone, okay? So just rub them together, ankles together, rub, 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 rub. Do that for, maybe another 2 breaths. And then exhale, let's release our mudra, relax our legs and our feet, and just take in the benefits of this first 20 minutes of practice today. Just take in the softening, take in the vibrations. And our affirmation today is, I am filled with pleasure and enthusiasm. My pleasure and enthusiasm allows me to achieve great things. I enjoy life to the fullest. All right. So from here, we'll begin some movement, and it's only going to get more vigorous today as we go along. So next about 30 minutes, expect some pretty good stuff. All right. So let's plant our feet back to the earth, knees bent. And let's see, I am going to change my computer here real quick. So, all right. So we're starting with the moving bridge pose. So if you're not aware of that one, demo it. Laying on your back, feet on the floor, hips distance apart. Arms straight up from your heart, about shoulders distance apart. Imagine that you're holding a beach ball, pretty large size, okay? Spread out your fingers. Connect your feet to the ground, walk them in, so the heels are almost at your booty, but just about an inch or two away. So your ankle bones are under the backs of your knees, okay? Head level, looking straight up to the sky. Press down through the four corners of your feet. Take your arms up overhead. Take your beach ball all the way up. Press your hips to the sky, and then exhale, lower down. Do it again. Inhale, lift, expand the front of your body. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Okay, if you want to go further, as you inhale, lift, press and push as high as you can, and then as you exhale, lower, bring your ball all the way through between your legs, arms by your sides. So inhale, come back all the way, reaching your thumbs overhead. Exhale, lower down, touch your pinkies to either side of your hips at the floor, and just expand the range of motion through the arms. Okay, so 2 or 3 more rounds here. Feeling the feet, feeling the hips wake up, front of the body wake up. And then when you lower down all the way. And if you have a block, grab your block. If you don't have a block, I'm going to recommend you use your mat. So you can roll up your mat. This is if you don't have a block. You can roll up your mat. And you can use the roll of your mat to do what we'll do next, or you can actually make this even harder by making a fold in your mat, okay? And holding the folded mat between your legs. I'm gonna place my mat as far and as deep as I can between my thighs and lay back down on the floor. Okay, so you're gonna have some resistance with your mat. If you're just using your block, it's the same idea. But what you'll do is you'll place your block between your legs, the 5-inch version, and as close into your pubic bone as you can. Okay, so from here, send your legs straight up. And if you can't get your legs straight, bend your knees. We call that table pose. Okay, so you want your knees to be directly over your hips. You don't want them in closer. So keep your knees just over your hips. And if you do straighten your legs, or if you keep them slightly bent, spread your toes out, okay? We wanna feel like our toes are lifting higher than our heels. So you want the heels to be down. So point your toes in like a ballerina, and then fan out your toes from there, and you get the same idea. All right, so wherever you are, clasp your hands again, interlocking your fingers, keeping your thumbs out, and then take your hands and place them underneath the base of your skull. Okay, so hands underneath the base of the skull. And with your next exhale, keep your shoulder blades into the back door of your heart, your elbows wide. Squeeze your block or your mat and slowly peel your head and shoulders up off the ground. As you do that, you want to keep your head relaxing in your hands. So this is the hard part about doing ab work the way we do it here, is to let your head go back. Because typically what you'll want to do is you'll want to crunch your chin into your chest. We're going to keep the chin off the chest. Okay, so lay back. You can straighten and flex your feet a couple times. Go back to spreading your toes, squeezing your block or your mat. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, peel the head and shoulders up off the ground again.
you're not gonna feel like you're coming up as much, okay? Pull your navel back as you exhale. Squeeze your block and see if you can lift your legs. Even if you have your knees bent, see if you can lift your sitting bones off the ground. Good, and then exhale, lay back. Take another big inhale. Exhale, squeeze your block, lift your head and shoulders up. Take your chin off your chest, look straight up to the sky. Exhale, squeeze your navel back, see if you can take your tailbone up. Release, big inhale. Repeat, stretch the hips up, squeeze and lift the head and shoulders up, elbows wide, chin off the chest, belly draws in. Keep that blocker mat squeezed, lay back. You got 2 more to do, deep breath in. Exhale, lift it up, squeeze it up. Let the block feel or that mat feel like you really got a pressure on it. And then exhale, release. Last one, deep breath in. Exhale, let the head and shoulders come up, chin off the chest, squeeze the block, reach through the legs. See if you can get that tailbone up a little bit more. See if you can pull that belly in a little more. And then exhale, lower down. Take your feet to the earth. Remove your block or your mat and take a rest. You can have your hands on your belly, soles of the feet together, knees open. So we're activating this warmth in here. And just as we come back to that sense of strength from the inside out, we're building this grounded connection to our inner strength. It's the seed that gets watered, but also gets the sunshine, right? The light of the sun is in our belly. It's the spark that creates life. And as we ground the winds of Vata, we really are simply feeling the rise and fall of our breath in our belly as we rest. Okay, so next movement, let's draw the knees in, hug them into the belly, rock out the spine a little bit from side to side. Make circles with your knees, circling 3 or 4 times in each direction, massaging out the low back. All right, so knees hovering from here. You can keep your knees and legs bent and clasp your hands behind you. No block or mat this time around. Let the heels float up. So we have the ankles in the same line as the knees. Okay, and then push your knees slightly away so your low belly starts to turn on. As soon as you feel the low belly turn on, you might feel the low back lift. That's normal. What we want to do is just try to keep the back ribs connected, especially pressing the low back down when we lift our head. So watch how we do this. We're going to take an inhale, and then as we exhale, hug the belly in, push the low back down. Let that help to make the upper body buoyant. So you're lifting your head up, your elbows are out, your chin's off your chest, you're looking up. Now reach out for your right leg. You're reaching at about a 45-degree angle. And then pull it in, lay back. Exhale, come up and lift, press the belly back, reach out through the left leg. So we're gonna lay back, bring the knees together. Exhale, lift the head up, reach the right leg out. Inhale, lay back, knees together. Exhale, reach the left leg out, 45 degrees. Inhale, come back. Really super slow, rhythmic, methodical movement. Exhale, left. So we want to exhale when we lift. We want to inhale when we lay back. So find a good pace for yourself. You're kicking right and lifting, lowering, bringing it together. Kicking left, then lowering, bringing it together. Exhale, kick. Inhale, lay back. Exhale, kick. Inhale, lay back. Last 2. Kick, lower. Kick, lower, and release. Again, hug the knees into the chest. Rock a little from side to side. Maybe you want to windshield wipe your legs So soles of the feet come together. Let the knees fall to the right, head to the left, knees and feet back up to center, windshield to the other side. And if you want to go back and forth a couple times in between, feel free. I'm going to come back and do one more set. And you have a couple options. Okay, if you liked using the block or that resistance of your mat between your legs, take that back again. Send the legs straight up to the sky. Clasp the hands behind your head. And you work that same movement, but now we're going to twist. So demonstrating, squeezing the block, lift the hips. So stop what you're doing and watch if you need to. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders up, chin off the chest. And then just now do twist to the side. Inhale, center, lay back. Exhale, twist, opposite, lay back. Exhale, twist, lay back. So we're really just working on getting that oblique area, the side and the twist as we come up. So we've been twisting the lower body a lot. The other option, if you don't want to use the block, don't like it, or you don't like the resistance of the mat, other option, come back to where we just were when we were kicking out. And then as we kick, we're going to twist. So we're doing the same, exhale to raise, but as we twist, we're going to lower the leg and twist. And then exhale, and inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, kick opposite side as we twist and lower the leg. Inhale, center, lay back. Exhale, move up, twist and lower. Right? So you can try both variations. The idea is to stoke that fire, to sort of burn up anything that isn't serving us now, and just remove any heat gets to express itself through our efforts. So we're removing any heat, but at the same time, we're building some of it to burn through. So keep the movement going. It's going to take some endurance as we play with this movement. I'm just watching. Yes, you guys got this. Wonderful. So get at least 2 or 3 more on each side. The heat that comes with this work, it's almost like helping that digestive fire, helping us digest our energy, digest our ideas, digest what's happening in the world, digest the change. And then removing anything that doesn't serve us. So it's like bringing in that strength so that we can show up with courage to life. Awesome. And then if you want, windshield wiping the legs, massaging out the low back. And we'll be flipping onto our belly for counter pose. Get my mat back out again. Coming all the way down onto the belly. This time clasping the hands again, but underneath your pubic bone. So you're going to take your arms underneath you, clasp your hands underneath you, and you want to try to get your hands underneath your pubic bone. If that doesn't feel good, you can take soft fists and put them to either side of your groin. Okay, so that's another option, all right? And if you have a watch on or any bracelets on, they'll probably be in the way. Rings might get in the way, so I have to take those off for now. All right, so hands clasp or fists. And as you come into this next stage, Shalabhasana, you're just pressing first your pelvis into the floor. So like into your fists, into your clasped hands. And as you do that, watch how your legs and feet naturally want to float up. Watch how your head and your neck want to peel away in the opposite direction now. So draw your shoulders towards each other, even though you can't move your arms, right? You're laying on them. And then see if you can raise your legs up on the exhale a little bit more. Tuck your chin slightly more in. Pull your belly button back. Pull your pelvic floor in. Float here for another breath or two, just easy. You won't be getting deep breaths here. They'll just be little sips. And then exhale, lower the legs, lower your head, turn your head to one side and rest. Take note of your breath as it moves your belly here. Now we might have a little bit better sense of the feeling of the belly rooting into the earth on inhalation, and the seed sprout through our body on exhalation. Good, and let's try that again. Clasping the hands underneath, or soft fists to either side of the groin near the pubic bone. We're pressing down through the pelvis, into the earth, letting the legs naturally come up and lift. Let the head and neck and kind of front of the chest start to also lift away from the floor. And even though the belly is touching, you can kind of pull in through the deeper core of your belly. So squeeze Uddiyana Bandha, deeper belly lock. Do the same with the pelvic floor. So naturally it'll probably engage a little bit. Engage it a little bit more. See if that helps to raise your legs. Little sips of breath, tuck the chin, engaging all the bandhas. Crown of the head moving forward towards the front of your mat. Toes moving back towards the back of the mat. And then exhale, slowly lower the legs first. Take the hands out from underneath you. Turn your head in the opposite direction and rest fully into your mat, into the earth. So feel the support of the earth underneath you. Allow yourself to really let go and rest here. Releasing and feeling the navel softening and rooting towards the earth, feeling supported by the earth. Surrendering any tension you feel now in your chest, your shoulders, your arms. Letting that calm wash over you. So come from here to table pose. Hands underneath your shoulders, transition back to all fours. From all fours, allow yourself to move through cat-cow, tucking the chin, rounding out the back. Again, good counter pose, especially if you could release your head all the way, chin to chest, and then inhale, go on the extreme opposite, taking the tailbone, sitting bones back to spread, heart through the arms, tip the chin up. If you can keep a little engagement on the inner body, it's very helpful. But let that full range of motion be felt through the head and neck, and through the pelvis and hips. We're moving our next set of poses beyond the lower chakras now into the heart. Let's curl the toes underneath and pick your hips up and press them back into downward facing dog. If you'd like to pedal your feet a little bit or sway the hips from side to side, get a sense for your body now, both sides, right and left, your limbs, your feet and hands, everything connected, earthbound, growing those roots. But again, feel the seeds sprouting up through the tailbone, sitting bones. So it's like you're rooting down to reach and rise up, making yourself lengthened. Use your exhales to empty your lungs completely. As you feel your lungs empty, feel that little tuck of the navel back towards the spine, hollowing out the belly. When you inhale, let your belly soften, let it fill, let yourself lengthen, feel your bones stack. And as you exhale, let things become more buoyant. Let the hips rise. You can even let your heels come up, hollow out the belly. From that hollowed place, inhale, walk your feet forward towards your hands, and then keeping your feet separated about hips width or wider, grab your elbows, shake out your head, and hang. Hang your whole entire upper body over your lower body. Feeling the backs of the legs open up even more. Straighten and bend the knees. Belly comes towards the thighs or between the thighs for a moment. Stretching the hips up, lengthening the legs even longer. And kind of playing those 2 points. Soften and bending the knees, and then straightening and lengthening the legs. Feel the weight on your feet evenly, the ground below you. Taking our sweet time. Just simplifying all these motions. And relax the arms, let them dangle. Leave your legs exactly what feels best way for you. And just shake your head no. And shake your head yes. And do that a couple times. And then as you feel ready, begin to slowly roll up. Pull your belly button back. Stacking your feet. If it feels better for you to come up with a flat back, like if it's sore in your spine, you can grab your hips and lengthen your spine, keeping your knees slightly bent to come up with a flat back. Let your head be the last thing to come. Inhale as you raise your head to center. Otherwise, you might feel a little dizzy after all that hanging. All right, inhale, reach the arms up for a moment, look up. Exhale. Bring the arms back to your sides. Opening our hearts. Let me fix my screen just a little bit here. Opening our hearts. Arms are going to open wide like 2 wings. Yeah. Keep your hips steady over your ankles the whole time. So really just activating lots of space in the heart center. Soft little knees if you need it. So inhale, lift your heart, open your wings wide, pull them back, spread your fingers. Exhale, round your upper back, bring the palms together in front of you. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Yes, inhale, open your wings, spread them wide, take off with your heart wide open. And then exhale, flap those wings forward. Wingtips come together in front, rounding your upper back. So pushing out through your shoulder blades. 2 more times, inhale. Reach, open, lift, let the heart be spreading and open. Exhale, round, squeeze, upper back. You're actually pushing your rib cage down. Inhale, let your rib cage expand. Let your breastbone lift. Let your chin pop up. Open those arms way, 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 way back. And exhale, bring them forward, palms together, chin to tuck, rounding upper back. And then relax as you inhale, open out straight to the side in a T shape. Good, and exhale, lower the arms all the way down. So take a moment to relax your shoulders away from your ears, elongate your neck. Feel your mountain pose. So you can adjust your feet if you need to. You can bring your toes in closer together if you'd like. And then turn your palms so they face out, so you're really externally rotating
your upper back and shoulders open. And take a few long, deep, slow breaths, finding your shoulders over your hips over your ankles. You can even adjust so your ears are over the tops of your shoulders, so become level-headed. And then bring your palms together at your heart center, just pausing for a moment. We're gonna make our way to the wall now. So I've created a little wall space on the other side of my room. So I'm gonna take you guys with me. And then if you haven't yet created a little wall space for yourself, do that now. This little bit of wall work, or actually kind of a lot of wall work, is gonna help us really open our hearts bigger and bring us more courage. It's also gonna continue to balance those winds I talked about earlier today. So the winds, we usually call them the winds of change, right? Let's just tip this a little more. There we go. Okay. Hi, you're at my wall now. All right, so we're gonna start at the wall with the hands at hips distance from the wall, okay? So you're gonna come to the wall, face the wall with your fingertips there, and then step back from the wall. You're gonna be probably not facing me. Your butt's gonna be moving towards the camera, or unless you're at a side view, which I could do that too. Maybe that might be better. Give you guys a little side view instead of the butt view. All right. So here's the wall. My hands are gonna go there. I'm gonna step back from the wall. I want my feet and ankles again over my hips. I'm gonna press back like I'm going into half dog here. As I press the wall, I'm lengthening my arms, I'm lengthening my trunk, I'm pushing my sitting bones and tailbone back. So I'm kind of fanning out my tail feathers. If I feel I want to step back just a little bit, fine, but try to keep your feet directly under your hip line. Okay, legs are strong, firm up through your kneecaps. Right now, just hug your upper leg bones around your femur bone. Good, and then from here, walk your feet in just a little closer. So they're side by side, maybe an inch or two apart. And now send your right leg straight back behind you. Let it float. And then push the wall a little bit more so you can come up onto your fingertips. Maybe even tenting your fingers at the wall. Keep your right heel hip height. Good, and then see if you can maybe come to slight balance over your left foot. Slowly press your hands back to the wall. Lower your right leg down, hugging your belly in, switching it out. Palms flat to the wall. Left leg now floats up to about hip level. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, like saw that block between your leg. Flex your left foot, so toes point down. Push off the wall a little bit more. So get the heels of your hands off, fingertips on the wall. Pull into your front belly. Find your balance over your foot. So you're kind of playing with this warrior balance, warrior 3 feeling. Come back, fingertips on the wall, hands on the wall. Left foot lowers down. Good, now walk up about half the distance towards the wall. Take your forearms, oops, I gotta go under my picture frame. Take your forearms at the wall. Clasp your hands, interlocking all your fingers again. Same kind of mudra, right? And now we call this shower pose. So you just let your chest kind of fall through that space between your arms. And if your forehead comes to the wall, great. Keep your elbows about shoulder width wide. Hands clasped together. Breathing into the back door of your heart. If you need to bend your knees a little here, it's okay, but let your chest and heart be heavy. It's like you're doing a little cow pose in your back. So your sitting bones are growing back. Your heart is opening, your armpits are opening, and you find a comfortable place for your head. 2 more breaths. Big, slow, deep ones. Good. On your inhale, walk your feet back up towards the wall. Start to stand up gently. And then just take a moment to come back to mountain pose here. So standing in mountain. Feeling the difference in your upper body now. So we did all this grounding work with the legs. You can imagine, like, from the hips down, it's like you're under the ground. You're like in the dirt. That's your roots. The spine is like that stem of a plant, or like the trunk of a tree. So you feel this sort of lightness and this pulse moving from the steady base up with lightness. So that's your healthy Vata, this rise of energy, this strength, the courage into your heart space. Okay, so we're going to open our hearts again a little more. This time we're going to work with the neck and the shoulders as well. The heart gives way to the throat. So stand with your right side at your wall. So my right side's at the wall. Got the mountain pose feeling through my body. Start by taking your left foot back. Take it about 2.5 to 3 feet. We're coming into like a forward stance position. From here, bend into your right knee until it comes just above your right ankle. If you're really good, like forward stance warrior, you feel really flexible in your back leg, take a wider stance so you can give lots of space between your 2 feet. Otherwise, just so you can feel yourself, like standing in your own body, take your hand away from the wall and just swing your arms a couple times. So we're not leaning into the wall for this work. The wall is there for our support. Okay, take your left arm forward, your outer arm, and take your right arm to the wall. And now push, so you're twisting towards the wall. Pushing my right hand to the wall, stretching my left arm forward, looking back even behind me, back over my right shoulder. Once again, connect into your legs and feet. So it's like a twist at the wall. And then from here, take your left hand to your heart and let it rest just down on your heart, on your skin of your heart. Slide your right hand straight back like at 3 o'clock on a clock. And then turn to face forward towards your right knee. So now we're in that forward stance warrior with the right arm back at the wall, the left hand at the heart. Opening the heart further. When you're ready, let your left ear drop down towards your left shoulder. So we're letting our head roll away from center, away from the wall. Take some deep breaths into your heart space here. If you really want to make this expansive, you can peel your fingertips away from the wall. This can get pretty intense. You got 3 more breaths left. So like you're peeling an orange, peel the fingertips away. You know, the palm of your hand can stay there, or the heel of your hand can stay there, but you'll feel all that fascia of your hands and forearms open up. Good, head heavy to the left. Roll the head forward, look down at your heart. Inhale, lift your head up. Straighten your right leg and release your right arm down. Release your left arm down. Turn so you're in wide stance with the wall behind you. Good, and if you want, you can kind of scooch up against the wall so you have something to lean into. Take a breath or two, just feeling that whole entire area of the heart that's opened up. And if you'd like to give yourself a little counter pose, come away from the wall a couple inches, hands to your hips, folding forward. Fingertips to the ground or to your ankles. And if it feels right, you can lower your head and take a wide forward bend. So just let your brain drain, let any tension out of your shoulders and neck.
You can tent your fingers at the floor. Inhale, come to half lift. Exhale, grab your hips with your hands. Press into your feet, firm up your upper legs, and inhale, come all the way up with a flat back. Good. Let's bring our legs together, shake everything out. If you need to get a little drink of water, grab a drink of water. So if you notice any shakiness or any sort of like tremors coming out, part of the release of the winds of Vata is to kind of feel into that and breathe through it. So let it move and smooth itself out. So we really have that intention as we come to the left side now. So we have our left side facing the wall. We'll be stepping our right leg back wide. Or if you need to, maybe just 2 feet apart instead of 3. Coming into forward stance position, warrior legs. So left knee bends over left ankle. Right leg nice, firm, and strong. Taking your left hand to the wall, reaching your right arm forward. And then twist, so you're twisting your chest towards the wall. The action is, your arms are like leverage for the twist. So you're reaching forward and out through your right and pushing the wall with your left, sort of bringing out the spine. And then from here, place your right hand at your heart, your left arm straight back, and then turn your chest to face forward. I'm gonna scoot up so I have my whole hand at the wall, okay? Right hand's at the heart. Legs are in our warrior position. Left arm is behind us. Now start to peel those fingers away from the wall. Let the right ear drop down towards the right shoulder. Breathe all the way up into your upper chest, all the way up into the base of your throat. Let your jaw soften. Let your inner eyes relax. Drink in the breath. Let it remove any tension you're carrying in your shoulders, in your ribs, in your arms and fingers. Spread them out. One more big breath here, all the way up. And all the way out. As you inhale, tuck your chin forward and down, looking towards your heart space. Stretch your left leg straight. Release your left arm from the wall. And again, pivot your toes so they point forward towards the wide end of your mat. Release your arm. Again, if you'd like to take either the lean against the wall or the forward stretch, those are 2 good counter poses. I also like to bring my feet in, lean my upper back and chest back against the wall, sacrum bone against the wall. Show you from maybe a side version. So I'm here, kind of like in a little supported chair pose. This is another good counter stretch. Kind of super glue your shoulders and press your feet. As you press your feet, your shoulders, the back of your head can connect to the wall. And you can just rest your hands on the top of your thighs and take several breaths here. So lots of options for counter stretching. This is just a normalizing, neutralizing pose, kind of more on the symmetrical feel, right? Just like our standing wide stretch. And then I also love this variation. You can press your legs straight, kind of move your butt a little higher on your wall. Keep the legs out at an angle and slide your hands down your legs from here. So I have my feet maybe 1.5 feet away from the wall, about 1 foot apart, and just kind of hinging at the hips and sliding forward at that angle. That can feel really nice on your low back. And then if you'd like to fall all the way in before you slowly bend the knees and roll, inhaling all the way up to center. Let's come off the wall for now. I'm gonna demonstrate one other pose here, Actually, two. Some of you are ready to start the relaxation process. If you'd like to start the relaxation process, you're welcome to. We're going to go into some arm balancing poses and inversions. So you have a choice. You can either do legs up the wall pose, which I'll demo real quick, and just stay there and hang out and just tune me out the rest of the time. Or if you want to come into forearm stand, I'll teach that in a moment, okay? So legs up the wall pose, everyone's favorite. We've been working with the chair recently, so it's nice to actually work with the wall. You scoot in as close to the wall as you can, lay back and kind of support yourself with your elbows and hands, and then turn your body so your legs can go straight up the wall. And if you can bring your booty as close to the wall as possible, you're going to get that angle through your legs. The rest of you can just relax and close eyes. And just release here. This pose is also known as Viparita Karani, or the Great Rejuvenating Pose. So if you're feeling like you need to rejuvenate and you don't want to do inversions today, that's a great option. I'm going to move this out of the way so that we can come into some forearm work. And those of you who want to continue with the forearm work, I've prepped you pretty well to be successful. Again, we're going to go into that clasp hand version where your elbows are shoulder width and your hands are interlocked. They come about a foot away from your wall. So I don't want you to work right up against the wall. I want you to measure at least a shin's distance away from the wall, about a foot. And then from here, coming into dolphin pose. So like you would come into down dog, only on your forearms with your hands clasped. From here, push down through the elbows and the forearms. Look back at your toes. Come up off your tippies or onto your tippies and bend your knees. And just feel the weight on your arms and shoulders. You can even kind of move and pulse your shoulders over your elbows a couple times. And then rest. Bring your knees down to the floor. Take your arms down by your sides. Bring your forehead to the earth. Give yourself about a minute to rest in child's pose before the next phase. Option for, instead of child's pose, to just sit in Virasana or Vajrasana, just regulating your breath. We're working with endurance and stamina, which is usually not a Vata quality. So if you feel out of breath or you feel a little bit jittery, those are all natural indications that, you know, the Vata in the body is turned up. So what we want to do is consciously breathe long, deep, and slow, and allow any of that nervous tension to ease in between each attempt, each stage of the poses. All right, so next stage, let's do this. Clasp the hands again, return to dolphin. This time, instead of looking back at your toes, look forward towards your thumbs and aim your shoulders directly over your elbows. From here, send your right leg up to the sky. Squeeze your inner thighs together and then lower your right foot to the ground. Inhale, reach up through your left. Squeeze your inner thighs together and lower it down. Do that 2 more times on each side. Reaching one leg up, squeezing through the midline to lower down. Reaching the opposite leg up, squeezing midline, lowering it down. So do 1 more on each side. Building that strength. And then resting again, child's pose or hero's pose. Roll the shoulders back. Or if you're in child's pose, see if you can rest your hands one on top of the other on your sacrum. Slowly tuck the chin to roll on up, back into heroes, or if you're in heroes, release your arms, release your hands, and we'll come to the next stage. This time we're gonna bring the arms parallel, like two train tracks. Okay, right track, left track, so they're just like each other. If you find when you're working on the floor, right, down, and your hands wanna come into each other, grab your block and use your block in between your arms, okay, to help your elbows from pressing in towards each other. Or even better, you can even use the block at your hands, trying to keep your elbows in at rib cage level. Okay, so if you do use the block, use it on its lowest setting and use it so it's diagonal, kind of the widest side even with the front of your mat, narrow side. And then you can kind of slip your index and thumb, index fingers on either side of your block, thumb underneath, and elbows pressed here. So this just sort of trains your forearms to stay connected and rooted as you work. So this can work for some people. This can work well for other people, just kind of squeezing the inner edges of your forearms against the block. And if you're pretty steady on your two arms and you don't find that your hands want to come together or your elbows want to fly out, then you can just come back to this position with the forearms without the block. Okay? So again, we're coming onto the tippy toes. We're aiming the shoulders over the elbows, and this is where it gets interesting. Same purpose when we swing one leg up, but this time as we swing up, we're going to bring that left foot to the right thigh, sending the right arm up to the sky. You can come back down again if you don't get successful the first couple rounds. Remember, we're at a healthy distance away from the wall, so we're supporting our own strength. Let your eyes be gazing between your two forearms, okay? So you're not cranking your neck to look at your thumbs. You're also not looking at your feet. You're somewhere in between, pushing the floor with your forearms. Try left leg to kick, right leg to come to the thigh. Okay, so that's the feeling. Left leg swings, and there's the wall if I need it, but I'm gonna push away from the wall as soon as I get to it, so I can really practice holding myself up on my own. So if you were not able to see me, let's see, gallery view. If you weren't able to see me and you want to see me again, let me know. Jerry's just a plop on the floor. Perfect. I'll tell you, my best way of getting up into this pose is to make sure that I keep my shoulders and my hips on the same plane. So as I look around, what I see is some people getting really bendy in their back. Try to bring your back more to neutral. I'm not saying it's going to be flat, just back more to neutral. And if you keep playing with bumping your foot up against your thigh, that's going to help you get that weightless feeling. So I'm going to show you one more time. Those of you still working, we can't do it all today, but at least we can give it a try, right? It's the best we can do. If the body's ready, it won't require enormous effort, just your willingness. Okay, so watch again, and then we can try one more round, and I can watch you a little better as you come through. So give yourself a rest, watch me. Let's see if I can angle that better. All right. So arms parallel, like two tracks. Healthy distance from the wall. Not too far away, but also not too close. I'm keeping my head kind of in a neutral position, looking between my two forearms. Knees are gonna be springy, feet are gonna be springy. I'm pressing down through my arms. One foot to center, opposite leg comes up for the balance. If I go to the wall, I come away from it as soon as I can. I'm playing to land lightly. Trying both legs. Don't just let one leg be dominant. Eventually, we want to bring both ankle bones to touch above us for the full float. All right. I know for some of you, this is a big deal. If you're happy to just go into legs up the wall, that's perfectly okay. Otherwise, I'll give a few moments to watch you. It's very invigorating to be weightless. It's very invigorating to play upside down. Sometimes, if we're too far away from the wall, then you may find yourself having to kick much harder, okay? So play with how much you need to kick. Play with your level of effort, your level of flotation, because a big part of this is pressing down, right, with those arms. Your arms create the foundation of this pose. Your forearms, your hands, your fingers. So it's at that foundation, that press, that you'll be able to get the weightlessness up. Your belly, all the work we did in our belly trained you today to fine tune that lifting and expanding through and lengthening through your spine to get that spaciousness and that strength to work in your favor. You guys are awesome today. If there's any other way that you know or that you've learned before that works for you, you can always go back to that. But I always like to introduce new things. So I hope those helped you. I hope they help you gain strength. And remember, it doesn't have to happen today. If you just come away with a big messy hairdo, that's perfect. That means that there was just enough playfulness here to move some energy. All right, so now we're really going to calm the winds of Vata. So let's come back to the floor. You can choose a couple things. You can play with Happy Baby. Those of you who are at the wall, if you want to take your feet together and let your knees bend out for Baddha Konasana at the wall, that could feel really nice. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the class in legs up the wall. Those of you who've been working with the forearm balance, that could be an awesome counter pose. So I'm going to move my computer back to my spot. I don't have the best light on that side of the house. Okay. So make sure you get any water you need, hydration before you get into your relaxation pose. I have some nice music to play for you today. Maybe there's a little twist that wants to come through after your Happy Baby. Or you may simply say, okay, legs up the wall, here I come, or Shavasana, here I come. Either would work perfect here. Okay. So this is our time of rest and even further equalization. When we slow down, we actually remove that sense of being rough around the edges. Where we remove any irritability or anxiety. We come into a place where we feel secure and grounded and at ease.
While healthy Vata is imaginative and active like we were today, we know that that can easily get thrown out of balance as things in our environment change, as things in our life change. When we practice just doing one thing at a time, one breath at a time, when we just deal with what is in front of us in this moment, we are balancing those winds of Vata. So as you release today, just let go of all effort and all outer energetic expansion and draw your attention home to your breath, back to the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe, as your breath breathes you. We'll make our way gently back to this room we're in, back to this incredible body temple. And we bow with our breath to all the elements within us, to the earth that grounds us, to the waters of our emotions, of the fluids of the body, to the fire, the heat that burns away impurities, that moves us forward, to the air of our breath, the feeling of the coolness through our nose, the expansion of our lungs, the oxygen that flows through our blood, to the ethers, to the lighter than air, the gases of awareness, of space. We feel all those forces of the elements dancing within us and through us and around us. And to Vata, to the balancing and harmonizing of the air element within us. Part grounding, part moving of the fire, using the fire to direct, to focus the energy. To the feeling of groundedness that comes with our watery, fluid self. Our healthy Vata is imaginative and active. So we come back to our bodies from this relaxation, wiggling fingers and toes. Reminding ourselves that when the winds come blowing, we make sure we dwell in the forest, kind of dense, wet, verdant, healthy, nourished earth. To stop and smell the roses or the plumeria. Let's take a big stretch. If you have your legs up the wall, draw your knees into your chest. Rock all the way onto your side. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself thanks for attending this class today, for giving your body and your mind and your soul a journey to go on of exploration. When you're ready, make your way on up to a seated position. And bring our palms together at heart center. As always, we're dedicating our practice beyond ourselves. We have to sometimes work really hard just to find ourselves okay here in our own flesh and bone. And ultimately, the good vibes and the energies that we create inside of ourselves are the ones that we actually send out into the world through our actions, through our words, even through our thoughts. And so by including this prayer today at the end of class, I urge you to not just send this prayer out to all beings everywhere, but include yourself in the all beings everywhere. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings everywhere feel peace. May all beings everywhere know the light of their true nature. May we be free. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for allowing me to guide your practice. Have a glorious rest of your day. Blessings. Aloha.